Hello, my name is Allison Ivory, and I'm doing my presentation on psychopathy. Specifically, the physical and mental differences between the mind of a psychopath and the mind of a normal person. First of all, what is psychopathy? Well, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, psychopathy is a mental disorder, especially when marked by egocentral and antisocial activity, a lack of remorse for one's actions, an absence of empathy for others, and often critical tendencies. So there are some major physical differences between the mind of a psychopath and a normal mind. A lot of these occur in the frontal lobe, such as the orbital cortex, the ventral medial cortex, and the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala occurs is in the temporal lobe. So the three cortexes help work with the emotions, aggression, and all of your feelings of right and wrong, while the amygdala works with hunger, drive, sexual tendencies, and predatory behavior. So in a normal person's mind, these are all at a normal function, and they coexist together to remove some of the harsh aggression and lack of empathy. While in a psychopath's mind, these senses are lowered, so they don't coexist as well and tend to lead to aggression and other psychopathic traits. So now some of the mental differences. There are two main models that scale mental differences. The triarchic model of psychopathy, which focus on boldness, disinhibition, and meaningfulness. So boldness is how they react to a situation. If they tend to stand up, be a leader, and put themselves out there. Disinhibition is a lot of the emotional. It goes with antisocial personality disorder, which is the main cause of criminality in psychopaths. And it also controls emotional empathy. Meaningness is their remorse and their intent when they are manipulating or acting in a selfish way. The other model is the two-factor model. So one of the factors is lack of empathy and remorse, where it goes along mainly with the boldness and the meaningness. And this really means like if they show reason and emotions towards others, while the others erratic lifestyle. So they don't really have a plan. They go off, they're very irrational, and they don't go off a set strategy. They just do. So now I want to focus on nature versus nurture. So these two pieces really coexist together to make a psychopath. But but each of them have their own different responsibilities. When you're talking about nature, there's other disorders that come into play, such as ADHD or conduct disorder. These are both mental disorders where you don't process information in the same way that everyone else does. They also tend to have lower brain functions, which is a genetic heritable trait, and this causes them to have a tendency to develop psychopathic traits. It's in their genetics. So they did a study on twins, and they found out that identical twins have more similar psychopathic scores on the triarchic model than fraternal twins, because fraternal twins only share 50% of DNA. On the other hand, nurture has a lot to do with how the children are raised. So if they have a good home life, if they are induced to high stress situations, or if they have a lot of competition early on, and if they have a safe or dangerous environment while they are younger. Nurture usually comes into play when they're around the ages from 3 to 5. After 5, children no longer can adapt their brains to remove some of the aggression. But in the middle, these two go hand in hand because some of it is genetic and what they inherited, and they are amplified by your early life situation. So manipulation and selfishness are when you have to adapt to a harsh environment and you need to get what you want. So you tend to be more manipulative and selfish to achieve these goals. Now I want to talk about signs of a psychopath. These usually show in children early on, such as earlier sexual intercourse, or wedding
It's not that funny.
I'm looking at Giselle.
Not me, guys.
Animal harm, or if you're looking through someone. So when you're looking through someone, it means you're not really registering who you're talking to. You're using them as a tool to get what you want.
Oh, sorry.
I was looking at
I was looking through someone.
Okay, so there are some ways to help children. Some of these ways are reducing mental and emotional stress. This can be by not putting too much pressure on the children when they are young. It can also be providing safe and loving homes for these children, because if they don't have parents and familiar figures that you can't rely on and may be abusive and cruel, then they will be more likely to develop psychopathic tendencies. There's also the case of not adding stress or excess competition, because with competition becomes more aggression, and these can lead to more psychopathic traits with the need to be better than everyone else. And then also catching the signs in early childhood, because once they pass the age of 5, like I said, there's not much you can do to help treat the children, so you really need to catch it early on, from the ages from 3 to 5. So there are treatments for it, such as removing children from unsafe homes. I know sometimes removing children doesn't sound like a good way to help, but when these children are more susceptible to becoming aggressive and getting more antisocial personality disorder if they grow up in these unsafe homes or unsafe environments. And removing the children from a place where they can potentially harm themselves more will always be a better option. There's also stimulation. So when you stimulate, it will help raise the functions of the amygdala and will improve how the children function, feel emotion, and may reduce predatory behaviors. Then there's also early teaching from doctors as a form of a way to help the children understand their condition and really shift their views to a more less aggressive way of seeing their disorder, and possibly preventing that aggression and antisocial personality disorder. So thank you very much for listening to my presentation. Do you guys have any questions?
So when you say like that they have like predatory, like what do you mean by that? Does it just mean that they're like, you know, just instinctively more aggressive, or like are they kind of like more like predatory in the other way?
Instinctively more aggressive, as well as having a desire to dominate, control, and come out on top of situations. Isla?
So you were saying like how their brains are actually like configured, I guess, in a different way. Are the different like parts of it, is it visually different or just like?
So according to the brain scans, when they take the scans, parts of their brain don't show up in the scans. So it looks like a part of their brain's actually missing, but it actually just has lower function, which causes some of these problems.
Okay.
Mary?
Was the ADHD put on the possible contributor
Yes.
symptoms? I didn't know. Because of the natural impulsivity.
Yes, because with ADHD, you tend to,
Wait, can I?
Yes.
Can I explain it a bit?
Yeah.
I have it myself. ADHD basically means you aren't able to regulate your attention or attention or impulses as well as the average person, leading to either your mind wandering or your body fidgeting a lot, not being able to sit still, etc., etc.
So with the ADHD, it's mainly the impulsivity that goes along with psychopathic traits, because when you're more impulsive, it adds into the disinhibition and the erratic behaviors, where you're more spontaneous and you don't always have a fixed plan, and this can lead to more influence of psychopathic behaviors.
It can also probably add to the trauma, childhood trauma.
Yes, it can. Hannah?
Not necessarily on this, but like what made you choose this topic for your research? Like what sparked your interest?
So I've always really loved neurology. For a long time I wanted to be a neurosurgeon or go into the field of neurology, and combined with I love understanding how people work. I like knowing how they function, how they feel emotions, and how it changes from different people. Plus, I'm also a really big fan of true crime. So psychopathy kind of combines all three of my interests into a great topic for me to research, and I had so much fun researching this topic. Are there any more questions? Perfect, thank you very much.